Hello, Capricorn. Thank you so much for being here, and happy Valentine's Day to you guys. Holy shit, Cap. Really? These are some fantastic cards. And you pulled one that I love and I don't get to see very often. So from Lay Vampire, you pulled Resurrection, Reprise, Recovery, and Comeback. But then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Abundance. So now with Resurrection, it's saying that now is the time for you to explore the things that you've always denied yourself the chance to do. It's saying that there's a path being cleared for you to do this, but you have to remake yourself, right? But then also it does talk about something that you thought was over and done with may come back to surprise you, but with abundance being there, it's bringing abundance into your life, which is great. So it's you going through a resurrection, but something else being resurrected possibly in your life. But again, with abundance, it's about the conversation that you have with money. You know, it's asking you, are you the wise girl or the foolhardy man? But whatever is coming back here is bringing abundance for sure. Here's your overall for the week. The Six of Pentacles. One of the things that I say about this is, you know, if you have wealth, right, and you feel abundant, share it. Right? If you're good emotionally, share the love. The Six of Pentacles, equal give and take. You know, for some people, it tends to show up, though, when you're putting a lot into something and wanting an equal return here. Unfortunately, sometimes it shows a one-sided situation. Now, for some of you, you may be giving this assistance or you may be receiving it. But we'll see. Now, in the past, the Seven of Cups. So, you know, I don't so much feel like you're fantasizing about things and not making it reality. I think that, you know, if you're talking about you and a person here, it's like, how do we get from here to there, right? Now, for some of you, right, it could be all the different options that you have in front of you and needing to choose something and go with it. You know, but it could be that, you know, in the past you thought about getting to this place of abundance, but not knowing what the best way was. But, you know, again, with the Six of Pentacles being there and seeing abundance, I think you get to that point. I just think in the past it wasn't very clear. In the present, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, you know, for some of you, again, if we're talking about another person with the Queen of Wands, you're looking at fire. You could possibly be working with somebody here, and there's a need for equal give and take. But one of the things that pops up for me when I see the Queen of Wands is self-image. And for you, it's about being confident and managing what is going on with your money, with your life. But there's that passion and excitement and enthusiasm with her. Some of you may be feeling really good right now, super confident, super attractive. You know, I don't see her as a bad thing. You know, and I don't think that this is somebody who is trying to confuse you. You know, because we're looking at the Seven of Cups as past energy now. Oh, yeah? You think so? Shit. The Ace of Cups, very nice. Very nice. An opportunity being resurrected again for you. And it being the Ace of Cups is beautiful. New emotional experience, new emotional fulfillment here. The beginning of something that is going to make you happy. New spiritual connection with the Ace of Cups. But right, like your cup runneth over. And you need to share that. But it's beautiful. And, you know, it's funny because I felt like it was important to say with resurrection. It's one of those things where something comes back that you thought was over and done with. And all of a sudden, here it is again, you know. But I think it's you attracting this, though, if we're talking about the Queen of Wands, as far as the way that you're feeling. Wow, Cap. Everything looks good. Better stay that way. Your best path to follow, the Queen of Pentacles. Very nice. Very nice. And again, you know, the question of you being the wise girl, yeah, I think so, when it comes to finances. The Queen of Pentacles, you know, and I think it's beautiful for you being down to earth about things, not being too materialistic here, having confidence in yourself again, not dealing with any more like self-doubt in your ability to manage what's going on. I mean, both of these queens in terms of you looks really good. Really, really good. And one of the things that I point out too with the Queen of Pentacles, and I do feel like this, especially when it comes to Capricorn, is that You don't need anybody to help you create your stability and security. Damn it, you can do that on your own. But I like it. I like it for you guys, and I do feel like that's the right way to go, in being practical about things, but working hard for, what you want. But, the other thing too, though, is as wonderful as the Ace of Cups is, I think it's more about like not getting carried away with it though either. But again, I'm not feeling anything bad around this. It looks really good. But, being dependable here, being practical, being who you are. Oh, yeah? Oh, my goodness. And that may be where there's a need to just kind of like simmer down, simmer down. You look fantastic. You look really good. And I think you are attracting somebody, possibly, for some of you. And again, going back to resurrection, like you thought it was over with, but here's this Ace of Cups. The King of Wands in your environment. Definitely we can be talking about a person here. And when I see the same suit, I think good match. It's a good match. But there's a lot of passion between these two. So again, fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag, possibly for some of you here. But there's attraction for sure. And possibly a new beginning for some of you. Your hopes and your fears, the Four of Swords. Now, when I talked about like not getting carried away like with all the emotion and passion and things like that, right? It's not a bad thing. But here with the Four of Swords, it's like maybe you need to think before you act. Because I do think that, if we're talking about somebody being involved with the Seven of Cups, for some reason in the past you weren't able to get to that stable place with this person, but it is about getting to that point now and trying to do this, right? The new beginning. But with the Four of Swords, again, thinking practically, but thinking before you act here. But then also, what I worry about is, this may be a situation that you have taken a break from before and there wasn't a whole lot of communication going on. And I think that it's about opening that up again. But then also I'm looking at the Six of Pentacles going, yeah, this better not be a one-sided situation here. There has to be equal give and take. But again, you're meeting each other equally here if we're talking about relationships. But it looks good. I just think that with the Four of Swords, like if you need to say something, absolutely there needs to be open communication. But, needing to think practically about what you're going to say or what you're going to do first. But I don't think it's bad. But I think that there may have been like a period where communication just wasn't happening. And again, like you may have taken a break from this. But it's like being resurrected. Oh, yeah. And then coming out, the Knight of Wands. And again, with you, feeling this passion and drive, I'm not seeing it as a bad thing. But, I'm going to clarify this just to make sure here. With the Knight of Wands, I love it in terms of being on fire, being full of passion, going after what you want. Absolutely, with that Ace of Cups being there. But the problem is if we're talking about a person coming through, unfortunately, the Knight of Wands tends to come in like a fucking whirlwind and then right out the door again. But I am hoping that, maybe there's a little bit more passion and excitement going on and heading somewhere new, especially in terms of a relationship. Whether we're talking about a new one that didn't get off the ground before, or one that you are in now. So now, and what I feel like looking at this is with the Knight of Swords, it's one of those things where, yes, there needs to be direct communication. Absolutely. It doesn't have to be harsh, but, if something needs to be said, you got to say it, right? This is about truthful communication. I don't question that with the Knight of Swords. But then the other thing I feel like is, if we're talking about past energy, it could be that you or the other person here may have been too quick to act. And that may be why there was like a break here as far as the Four of Swords. Like maybe too quick to, call a situation. Maybe being a little bit hasty. But like I said, like, I feel like something needs to be said. Somebody needs to communicate something here. But I don't think it's a bad thing because you're looking at strength in the Fool and it's beautiful. So strength, having that strength to continue with this and make the most of this Ace of Cups, even though in the past there wasn't a lot of clarity. And the Fool, going for it, having faith, taking that leap of faith. Oh, Cap, I fucking love your readings. I love them, even when they're rough. But this one is fantastic. And what I'm going to say here, and you know, I should really be saying it all the time. If you're having a good week and things are going well, enjoy it. Enjoy it and be grateful for it. Because this looks fantastic. But when we're talking about communication, especially if you're looking at a new beginning with somebody here, it needs to be about the equal give and take. And then action, needing to take action. And that, I think, has to do with, first of all, communication. Something needs to be said, you got to say it. But then also taking the action here to make the most of this. But beautiful. Reconnect with spirit is always good advice. And I always say this when this card shows up. Especially for you, though. When you get too caught up in the material world and keeping everything going and taking care of everything and being successful, sometimes there's a tendency to like move away from spirit. But you know, it's about reconnecting here to bring that love back in and taking action toward it. God, I love your readings. All right, whispers of love. Let's see what other messages there are for Capricorn. And then look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. Yes, you are, and you're pulling on strength. Beautiful. It is a beautiful reading. I love it when readings like this happen. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, Cap, especially if you're looking at a new beginning with a relationship, or even if it's a business relationship here. But with the Ace of Cups, it looks fantastic. There's renewed passion here and a need to go forward, but definitely speak up if there's something that needs to be said here. But right, like, have faith in this. Take a leap. You know, go for it. Experience this. You know, you can still be you and let go of control just a little bit. All right, Capricorn, beautiful, beautiful reading. I love it. Enjoy this. If this is resonating for you, make the most of this because this is fantastic. Now, I do think that something may be coming back through here that you thought was done with. And definitely you are going through a resurrection, but whatever it is, it's bringing abundance into your life. And, you know, like I said, this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could be a really good partnership in business where money is starting to flow in. But again, we've got the Ace of Cups, which also could be talking about the reconnection with spirit for sure. But there is a new beginning that you're looking at here. But it's like you and this other person are meeting each other halfway on equal ground. But I do think that there needs to be some communication. And before, you know, you get swept up in the whirlwind of passion, right, make sure that you stay in tune with who you are and being practical about things. But, you know, I'm not seeing anything bad here at all. Now, with the Four of Swords, though, I do think that you may have taken a break from this situation at one point. Communication may have been, like, closed off for a little bit. But like I said, you know, there's renewed passion here, but I do think that there is something that needs to be communicated. And possibly, you know, about needing to have that equal give and take in this situation here. But you're pulling on your inner strength and taking a leap of faith to do this, which is great. I love it. And I love it when the Fool shows up for you guys. So again, reconnecting with spirit and opening up to love here and then taking action toward that Ace of Cups and making the most of it, which I think is beautiful. Speak the language of love and look to your inner strength. You need to speak up, say what needs to be said, but do it in a loving way here and look to your strength as far as continuing this. Because like I said, it looks like a good match for some of you if we're talking about a relationship. But you need to make the most of that Ace of Cups. It's beautiful there, you know, and go ahead and take a leap on this. It doesn't matter what, you know, may happen. It's more about enjoying the experience right now.